Okay, picture this. Somewhere in the world, literally right at this very second, billions of dollars are just hidden, completely beyond the reach of any government, any regulator. We're talking about a massive, parallel financial system that was engineered specifically to hide staggering amounts of wealth right in plain sight. Let's dig into how this ghost network actually works.
Over $1 trillion. I mean, just let the sheer scale of that number sink in for a moment. Trillions of dollars are moving through the global financial system every single year. And, for the most part, we don't even think twice about it, right? We just assume it's the normal ebb and flow of global commerce. But investigators spent years poring over this, and they realized that hidden within this massive flow were patterns that just didn't make any logical sense.
Okay, let's dive into this. In the visible, legitimate economy, the one you and I interact with every day, every transaction leaves a paper trail. Businesses pay employees, there are public records, the whole shebang. But when investigators started mapping global money flows, they found this massive shadow economy operating totally parallel to ours. Money disappears from one jurisdiction only to mysteriously reappear in another. Zero public records, no obvious owners, literally just billions of dollars acting like ghosts. And that brings us to the ultimate question, the one that investigators absolutely obsessed over for years. Where does the money go? I mean, the transactions existed, the cash was real, but for a really long time, the actual individuals behind those transactions were completely invisible. Well, invisible until a historic data leak ripped the veil right off this entire network.
Section 1. The Hidden Trail, Mechanics of Secrecy.
So when millions of confidential files finally leaked out, they didn't exactly look like smoking guns. Actually, at first glance, they were incredibly mundane. We're talking standard company registrations, boring legal filings, run-of-the-mill business agreements. But investigators with a trained eye, they started to notice something deeply strange. They saw millions of dollars flowing through companies that didn't actually seem to produce or, well, do anything at all.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it defines exactly what these entities are: shell companies. And sure, the concept itself isn't new, but the sheer volume they discovered was absolutely staggering. These are businesses existing almost exclusively on paper. No employees, no offices, no products, no customers. They act as the perfect, sterile vehicles to move capital around while completely masking the true owner.
One of the investigators described the mechanism perfectly. They said, imagine placing a mask over your face. Now imagine placing another mask over that mask. And that right there is the entire architecture of the shadow economy. It's just nested layers of ownership designed from the ground up to frustrate absolutely any regulatory scrutiny.
It's a completely deliberate and administrative labyrinth. It kind of plays out like a fast-paced game of three-card money. Look, step 1, Company A owns Company B. But step 2, Company B is owned by a trust. And step 3, that trust is controlled by a hidden organization, maybe managed by some offshore proxy. By the time an investigator follows that paper trail all the way to the end, the true human owner has just vanished into thin air.
So if you want to build a multi-layered maze like this, you obviously need jurisdictions that legally allow these phantoms to exist in the first place. Which begs the question, where on earth are these invisible networks actually physically operating?
Section 2. The Secret Network, Havens of Privacy.
And this brilliantly illustrates what they found. Investigators realized this network spans continents, but it relies heavily on specific, repeating locations. We're talking about incredibly small jurisdictions, often these sunny, idyllic island nations that look like they export nothing but coconuts and tourism. Yet, behind the scenes, they have unusually large financial industries quietly managing trillions in foreign corporate wealth. They offer extremely strong privacy laws and ownership records that are nearly impossible to access. It's the ultimate black box.
Trying to find the source of the money was described as chasing a drop of water through an ocean. Think about it. When money leaves one account, converts to a different currency, crosses 3 borders, and then washes through 4 different offshore banks, all in a matter of hours, it creates deliberate, weaponized distance. Each step just adds more confusion until the original source is practically impossible to identify.
Section 3. The Breakthrough. Data against the shadows.
For decades, the sheer volume of paperwork served as this unassailable brick wall. I mean, no human could possibly read it all. But then, investigators started fighting back. They deployed powerful data analysis tools and algorithms to map the leaks. These systems could ingest millions of documents at once, instantly connecting scattered transactions and revealing hidden relationships. Finally, modern tech was making the invisible network visible.
And the data revealed something truly shocking.
This ghost money wasn't just sitting idle on some tropical island. It is actively woven into our daily lives. Look at this reach. It's flowing into major banks, global corporations, massive investment funds. It's artificially inflating prime real estate in our biggest cities, and it's funding luxury assets. It literally distorts the very markets that you and I participate in every single day.
Which brings us to perhaps the most haunting question of the entire investigation. If this shadow network is so massive, and if it touches almost every corner of the global economy, how in the world did it stay hidden from the public for so long?
Section 4. The Shield of Complexity. The answer to that question is an absolute army of protectors. Behind all of these structures are elite experts, top-tier lawyers, wealth advisors, and niche specialists. Powerful individuals hire these dedicated teams, paying astronomical hourly rates, specifically to build legal brick walls. Their entire job, day in and day out, is to ensure your privacy and assets are protected, keeping true ownership completely obscured.
So the crucial point is this. Extreme complexity is the ultimate camouflage. Because trillions of dollars legitimately bounce around global markets every single day, highly unusual or illicit activity simply blends right into the background noise. It hides in plain sight, perfectly disguised by confusing terminology as just routine corporate finance.
Section 5. The Unresolved Mystery. The Truth Today.
Now, those historic leaks absolutely sparked outrage and launched massive investigations. But the game? It is far from over. Today, modern finance is faster, it crosses more borders, and it is more interconnected than ever before. The mechanisms for hiding wealth haven't been eradicated, they've simply evolved. The increasing complexity of global finance right now just creates even more places for secrets to hide.
Ultimately, investigators realized that this was never really just about money. It was, and still is, about power, influence, and control. This shadowland allows the ultra-wealthy to leverage their power on a global scale with absolutely zero public accountability. It really shows us the extraordinary lengths people will go to in order to protect their wealth and remain unseen.
So, here's where we stand. We know these hidden fortunes exist. That is a fact. So I'll leave you with this. If billions of dollars were successfully discovered right under our noses once, what else is still waiting to be found out there? What secrets are currently growing behind closed doors today? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the obvious, and I'll catch you next time.